New Mexico's OBI is asking NTIA to release the balance of its BEAD award. Approval granted on the Nexstar-Tegna merger, a massive fiber deployment workforce training center to be built in Georgia, free ad-supported streaming going fast, and Roku unveils a streamlined method for viewing March Madness. Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband Universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. The New Mexico Office of Broadband Access and Expansion is looking for the entirety of the state's outstanding BEAD program award. It's roughly $293 million to be released by NTIA. OBI issuing a press release this week listing 8 goals, top 3 priorities: strategic fiber infrastructure deployment, workforce development programs, along with streamlined permitting at the state, county, and municipal levels. Among the supplemental goals, connecting community anchor institutions, data collection, and broadband mapping. The FCC approved Nexstar's acquisition of Tegna this week. The $6.2 billion merger will provide Nexstar control of 265 TV stations in 44 states and the District of Columbia. Nexstar will now own major network affiliates in 132 of the nation's 210 DMAs, or roughly 80% of all U.S. households. On the heels of the FCC approval, the coalition of attorneys general in 8 states have filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of California to block the acquisition of Tegna. AGs in Virginia, North Carolina, Connecticut, Oregon, Illinois, Colorado, and California are parties to the legal action. The lawsuit claiming that the merger violates Section 7 of the Clayton Act, where mergers that substantially lessen competition or create a monopoly are illegal. In order to receive approval from the FCC, Nexstar agreed to divest itself of TV stations in Little Rock, New Orleans, Indianapolis, Norfolk, New Haven, and Denver. The lawsuit from the Coalition of Attorneys General was not the only one filed related to the Nexstar-Tegna deal. DirecTV has filed a federal antitrust lawsuit alleging that the merger would significantly harm consumers as well as violating federal antitrust laws. The lawsuit claiming that the deal would drive up consumer costs, reduce local competition, close local newsrooms, and increase retransmission consent disputes and the resulting blackouts. Elsewhere, New York's Public Service Commission has approved Charter's acquisition of Cox Communications. California now the lone state still needing to approve the $34.5 billion merger, a deal which would create the nation's largest ISP with 36 million subscribers and 70 million passings nationwide. New York's regulator will require the new company to invest $100 million in network upgrades across the Empire State and to replace a minimum of 500 outdoor access points for free Wi-Fi service. Companies must also spend $3 million to bring broadband service to underserved shelter locations. A major workforce development announcement this week in the Peach State. Dycom Industries will build a training center on 49 acres in Walton County, that's just east of Atlanta. Workers will be trained on fiber deployment, electrical systems, utility work, and maintenance. It will serve as a central training hub for Dycom. The Florida-based specialty contractor employs more than 20,000 workers across the country. The workforce training campus will feature classrooms, a mock residential neighborhood, huge underground utility field, utility poles, along with on-site lodging for trainees. The constant stream of massive data centers being built require both energy sources and energy storage systems. Now, large U.S. electric vehicle battery makers are turning their attention from the auto market to making batteries for utilities, power developers, and AI data centers. Revenue from Tesla from the storage segment grew 67% in 2025. That's up to $4 billion. General Motors exploring an arrangement to supply energy storage batteries. Growth in the sector expected to grow more than 35% this year. Global free ad-supported streaming TV, or FAST, viewership jumped 21% year over year during the fourth quarter of 2025. That from an Airtime Report, AI in media operations. Ad impressions were up 27%. Media companies are also increasingly integrating applied artificial intelligence in operational workflow flows for content production, scheduling, and monetization. Largest increase in fast TV viewing came in Latin America with 66% growth, 23% growth in Asia Pacific. And while streaming is certainly strong, delayed Nielsen data from February revealing that traditional TV accounts for 47.4% of all viewing, streaming just less than 42%. YouTube holding an 11% share of viewing, Netflix 7.5%. And finally, if you're hooked on following tournament hoops, Roku has launched its NCAA March Madness Zone. It offers a streamlined way to follow every live game, scores, and highlights. The platform was created in close partnership with TNT Sports and CBS Sports. It provides coverage of both the men's and women's tournaments. And speaking of which, how are your brackets looking going into the Sweet 16? Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.